Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitattvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakhatvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mamadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are discussing chapter 1 of the Panchadashi, where Vidyaranya this time talks about the Samadhi. After discussing the Tattvamasi statement, Mahavakya, and understanding using the Tattvamasi statement by Bhagatyaga Lakshana, that means discarding the contradictory qualifications of the Jiva and Ishvara. That means Jiva is Alpajnaha, Alpashaktiman, and so on, and Ishvara is Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman, and so on, and Sarvayapakaha, and all that. So those are, you cannot equate Jiva equal to Ishvara. It doesn't sound really correct. So therefore, but the scripture is saying you are that. So we have to discard the contradictory qualifications and only equate the essence. What's the justification for that? For that is the scripture itself starts in that chapters. The Chandogya Upanishad says, Eka Vijnanena Sarva Vijnanam Bhavati. Knowing one thing, you will know everything. So that is the Upadghatam, that is the promise in which the scripture is being developed. And what is that cause? If I know the cause and the products of that cause are almost known, provided the cause is upadana karanam, material cause. So if I know, the scripture itself gives the three examples. If you know the gold, in a sense you know all the ornaments, because ornaments are nothing but the expressions of the gold only, and it is a more transformation, less transformation, and that is vacharambanam vikaro namadheyam. It is of the nature of only namke vaste creation. There is no transformation of gold into something. Gold remains as a gold, but at the same time varieties of the ornaments are there. So there is an ontological difference between the reality of the gold and the reality of the ornaments. So even though both are real, one is more real than the other. And that's exactly what the Advaita Vedanta says. What is highest reality is the pure existence alone was there and itself became many. It's not just a pure existence, it's existence which is of the nature of consciousness. Because tadaikshada bahusyam tada edi, it saw. So saw means it has the capacity to see, but there is nothing else to see because it's one without a second. That means it's self-conscious entity. And that became many. That's essentially how the creation has been explained. Therefore, if I know one thing, I know everything. So if I know one ring or a bangle or necklace, I know the gold, because from gold it came, by gold it is sustained, into gold it goes back. So if I know any particular Jiva, because they are all product of one Sat Swarupam, and which is of the nature of Chit. So Sat Chit is, and since being limitless, it is Ananda Swarupam. So one Satchidananda has becoming many, or appears to become many, because gold only appears to become many ornaments. This is the example Upanishad itself provides. Therefore, its implication of that is essentially, if I know ring, I know two things. One is the nama rupa, name and a form of a ring, which is different from a bangle. Name of a form is different and its properties are different. But what is common is I have to drop. If I say ring is equal to bangle, the equation doesn't make sense unless I drop the contradictory qualifications of the ring and the contradictory qualifications of the bangle and say, yeah, both are nothing but gold only. So I have substantive knowledge if I know gold. The other knowledge is only superficial knowledge. A ring can become bangle can be necklace. But from the point of goldsmith, how much gold? He wants to know if it is a gold or not. The whole Eureka story, everybody is familiar. That's because of matter is coming from the, whatever the crown that he was looking is coming from the gold. So therefore, what the substantive knowledge, the essential knowledge is essentially is the one from which it came, by which it sustained, into which goes back. So therefore, he says you are that, and before that Tattvamasi statement, the famous statements also is there. It says Aitadatyamidagam sarvam tat satyam sa atma Tattvamasi Svetaketo. So before Tattvamasi Svetaketo, there are some initial statements of Uddalaka. All those statements are repeated 9 times. So Aitadatyamidagam sarvam tat satyam says Sat is the starting point. That's how the Sadeva Saumya existence alone was there, and now he says, before he introduces the Tattvamasi statement, he says Atma idagam sarvam, idam sarvam, this entire sarvam, the whole universe, Jagat, is the essence of it. That Atmyam is, that is the essence of it, is nothing but existence alone, and you are that. So that's how the equation, therefore, Bhagatyaga Lakshana is justified on the basis of the way the scripture itself is developing the whole understanding and making a statement. And it's not just a casual statement. The scripture repeats that 9 times, Tattvamasi, and every time it repeats, it gives some kind of a introduction to, so that the confusion in the mind of student is removed. So it's essentially Manana Vakyam. First time it is a Upadesha Vakyam, and from then on, how it can be you are that, you are that. He gives many examples, 8 examples, to ensure that his son Svetaketu understood the meaning of Mahavakya. So Vidyaranya goes through the process, and also in the process an objection was raised by an Ayayikas or Tarkikas, that means logicians, and that was answered answered. And it says, having understood, you need a Shravanam and Mananam and Nididhyasanam. You have to understand this by systematically approaching the teacher, because all other the Vakyas of the Upanishads, if these are only Mahavakyas, why do I need rest of it? The rest of the Mahavakyas are called Avantara Vakyani. They are there to help to understand this one. So therefore, all that introduction, because the student is already preconceived notion about himself, about the world, and about Ishvara. So Upanishads has a delicate job to remove all the preconceptions and then only make a statement for him to grasp. Otherwise, it's not clear. Therefore, it says Srotavyaha. You have to do Shravanam at the feet of the teacher to understand. That means with the humility, you have to understand the import of the Vedantic statement. That is the whole Upanishads, and Prakarana Granthas are the essence of Upanishads, put it in a simple form by the Acharyas, and those are called Prakarana Granthas, and study of that is helpful, and so that the clear understanding is there. Then Mantavyaha, then you have to reflect on the teaching until there are no more doubts left. So whoever asks any question anywhere about the reality, you are firm. Whether he agrees or not is not the point, but you are not shaken by the objections that are raised. So the whole Vedanta is, and the Bhashyas and all that, they take possible objections by a Purvapaksha and answers that this is only to ensure that this kind of the doubts will not rise in the mind of a student. Therefore, all possibilities were explored in the Shastras. The objections and the Purvapakshas that Shankara takes is those objections that are prevalent at that time, and the one that Vidyaranya takes is the one that is prevalent after Shankara. After reading, and there is the other philosophers raise objections, and those are the ones that are being answered. And now we have to take new objections also coming from the scientific side, because the materialistic side also people are exposed to that, and they raise the objections, how can I be infinite when I feel myself so finite? So what is infinity? Because aham brahmasmi means I am the totality which is infinite. Brahman means also infinite. So how can I be infinite? For that only you need a clear mananam, reflecting on that. And once you understand there are no more doubts now, then if you are Uttamadhikari, that itself may be sufficient to recognize that you are. It's not just the hearsay knowledge, it has become your own nature, because it's understood as the 10th man story that we refer to. But if that is not clear, the reason it's not clear, even though I understand it in the class, as outside the class I am agitated, and the rest of my time, only class is 1 hour, rest of the 11 hours or 24 hours in the home and in the world, I am getting agitated. That's because of, even though I am Brahman, I still have to transact with the local body, my intellect, and therefore while transacting I cannot but identify with the body, my intellect. And therefore when I identify myself, the problems of the body, mind, intellect, I superimpose on myself, and therefore I get worried and all that. So therefore what happens to this one? That's why Krishna talks about the dukkeshu anudvignamanaha sugeshu vigataspuraha vita raga bhayakrodaha. So vita raga bhayakroda, there are no ragam and bhayam, so raga dveshas are not there. Bhayam comes from the vitiyadvo bhayam bhavati. You get the fear because of the second. So if I realize that everything is drama, for that I need to transcend, and I know that I am an actor playing the different roles. So roles will have a problem, and that's a part of the drama. If everything runs smoothly, there is no drama. So therefore roles will have a problem. But recognition that roles problem has to be solved according to the role. But at the same time, I have to recognize that I am an actor playing the role. So actor doesn't have a problem, roles will have a problem. That's essentially what needs to be understood while I am living in the world. And nididhyasana is being explored in terms of those who have remnant raga dveshas. Therefore, why I am not able to assimilate that the understanding that aham brahmasmi? Because there are still lingering vasanas. The mind has not been purified enough. So the sixfold, the viveka, vairagya, samadhi, shat sampatti. So shama, dhamma, uparati, all those things are not mature enough, and I have enough shraddha to listen to the teachings, but there is a Brahman. You are Brahman, infinite. That is not assimilated. It looks like only a possibility, but not as understood, logically understood, but still the transactionally it's not understood. The simple statement is, I know happiness is not out there, but still we are going outside for happiness, which means I have not understood that there is no outside happiness. But we still go around in the transactional world, and that's where the problem is. So there is a understanding is different from the transactional in the transactions, and that's where the gap between the two is the problem, and that's what is essentially due to the remnant raga dveshas. In order to remove that, nididhyasana is recommended. Nididhyasana involves a constant contemplation on the nature of the reality as specified in so far, and after the maturity a little bit, then samadhi. Talks about samadhi. Samadhi is not an absence of it. So it is where I start thinking more and more in only a particular area. That means aham brahmasmi. I am the totality that pervades everything. that after understood, now recognition of that and every thought and every, because Pratibodha Viditam Matam, and the light of consciousness that illumines the whole world, and the existence expressed in the whole world in terms of Chara Achara, movable, immovable, and all that has to be understood clearly. In order to do that, the mind has to contemplate on the single thought of that ekatvam. So that has to be concentrated. And the sloka 15 said, Ruttinam anuruttistu prayatnat pradhamadapi. So the constant contemplation that Aham Brahmasmi, it's not a japa, but a clear clinging to that, because I understood, therefore I have to understand what is that Aham Brahmasmi means, has to be contemplate and recognize, or what you call claim that I am that Brahman. And I am Brahman already, but I am not able to take it. I have to claim what I deserve. So in the Upanishad it says, Srunvantu Visve Amrutasya Putraha. So a sage addresses the people, Srunvantu Visve Amrutasya Putraha Ayodhamani Divyani Santi. What a daring declaration. He says, hey, listen to all, you all. Says Srunvantu Visve Amrutasya Putra. He doesn't address, hey, you sinners. It addresses, you are sons of immortality. Immortality means changeless. Your changeless is infinite. You are sons of means you are essentially that because of which you came from. And he addresses this as Amrutasya Putraha. But I have to claim, because I think I am only a finite guy with a desakala vastu parichinnatvam, limited by space, limited by time, limited by object wise, and I have notions. So I have to get rid of them in order to recognize my nature. So he addresses, you listen, your birthright is that, and Ayodhamani Divyani Santi. You too, who are in the higher lokas, O Devas, you too listen. So he even teaches the higher loka people, because they are also in the same boat, other than they have better comforts, that's all. So therefore, they have a notion that I am so and so, that means identification with their body, mind, intellect. And they are transacting in their world. So they have better system compared to what we find here. So, Ayodhamani Divyanti, Vedametam Amrutam Parastat. So I know the truth. Nanya Panta Vidyati Anaya. There cannot be no other than Vidya, by knowledge only, because it is the ignorance is the problem that can be only removed by the knowledge. That's what the Upanishad talks about. So Pradhamat, by prayatnat, by effort I had to do it, by rechanneling my mind. How do I rechannel? And you see, yato nischarati manas chanchalam astiram tatastato niyam yaitadu atmanyeyo shamnayin. So whenever the mind has gone out, bring it back. And that is called, the effort has to be there continuously until the mind settles down into that. Mind goes out because of lingering vasanas only. So it says in the 57th sloka, Ruttinam anuruttistu prayatnat prathamadapi. In the first time, it's initially the first time, or the first step is by prayatnam, by effort you have to bring it. And adrushta sakruda abhyasa samskara sachivad bhavet. By the process of previous samskaras, because the merits of the previous life, or in this life in the past, whatever those merits that I have done will propel me or help me. That is called adrushtam. Adrushtam means, here we are talking about the good aspect of that will help me to make mind shift slowly into the higher truth. And that's what he said in that. And this aspect of samadhi aspect is being discussed much more in the next sloka. Let's read that. Yatha deepo nivatastaha itya birane kadha ityadhivirane kadha bhagavan nimame vartham Bhagavanimame Arjunayanyarupayat Yatha Deepo Nivatastaha Ichyabidaranekadha Bhagavanimame Arjunayanyarupayat. So here he is referring to the Bhagavad Gita. Says Yatha Deepo Nivatastaha Ichadibihi Anekada. So like these statements like this, Yatha Deepo Nivatastaha, quote unquote, this iti means unquote, quote unquote, this statement like this is Ichadibihi, like the similar statements, Anekada. There are many statements like this in the Bhagavad Gita. Statements like Yatha Deepo Nivas, just as the lamp is burning, is pointing up, and when there is no Nivasastaha, when there is no perturbation from the winds and anywhere, the calm and quiet and enclosed one, therefore it's keep burning continuously in a single pointed way. Same way, the thought flow is going in a single pointed way. Yatha Deepo Nivatastaha Ichadibihi Anekada Bhagavan imam evam artham. So imam eva artham Bhagavan imam eva artham Arjunaya Nirupayatu. So Arjunaya, for Arjuna, Nirupayatu is explained. Bhagavan imam eva. This is exactly what Bhagavan has explained. In the meaning of this is what exactly has been explained in the slokas like, see, Yatha Deepo Nivasastha. So what is the sloka that Bhagavad Gita is? Yatha Deepo Nivatasto Nengate Sopamasmruta Yogino Yata Chittasya Yunjate Yogamatmanaha. So he says, so Yatha Deepo Nivasasto Nengite Sopamasmruta Yoginaha Yata Chittasya Yunjate Yogamatmanaha. So the yogis is contemplate on the truth, that is, yoke their mind into that, just as the continuously burning, single pointed, unperturbed is the flame that is really burning. So that is an example Bhagavan Krishna gave in the Bhagavad Gita, and here he quotes, is not a my invention. This is what exactly Krishna already said, not only in this way, in many other ways also he has said. So what is the point to do? He is emphasizing a single pointed, directed thoughts towards I am that, what is that? I am the substratum of Jiva Jagat Ishvara. There is no more Jiva Jagat Ishvara. I am the total, using the upadhis. So using the mind, so it is with the mind. I have to use the mind. Without the mind I cannot go. From the point of realization, the Satchidananda doesn't need to realize, because it is one without a second. So there is no ajnanam also in that. So but I have ajnanam because I feel I am not, because I don't feel that I am Brahman, therefore I have ajnanam. So where is ajnanam? Whoever doesn't know that he is Brahman has ajnanam. So for him, that Upanishad teaches, says you are the totality, but totality cannot be shown. So the Lakshana Vakya, a statement where I can direct my mind in the direction. So there is a prayatnam is involved, and the prayatnam becomes fructified when it becomes natural. That's what essentially implied, and that should be like continuous flow of the thoughts. And Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi gives a similar example, just as the river flowing, or the Ajya Dharaya Srotasa Samam Sarala Chintanam Viralatah Param. Ajya Dharaya, there are two examples are given. Just as the flow of the ghee is continuously flowing, because the viscosity of the ghee is so high that it's as you start pouring, it's continuously one to the other hooked up, so it continuously flows. So Ajya Dharaya, Srotasa samam. Srotasa means like a river flowing towards the ocean. And Sarala Chintanam Viralata Param. Sarala Chintanam. So the constant, continuously flow of that from the Virala, this is from the on and off to constant flow. So these examples are given, one from the ghee point. Ghee is indicative of Sneha Bhava, because if you touch ghee, it sticks to you and it doesn't leave, you cannot leave unless you wash it with soap or something. So that means I had to stick to that is Sneha Bhava of the goal itself. That's called Mumukshutvam. Or from the bhakti point to the deity. Either way, I had to find out, I had to constantly, the love for it has to be there. That's essentially Ajyadharaya. Srotasa samam, like the river flowing to the ocean. River flows because it knows the goal. Irrespective of where the river is, it wants to go, because from the ocean it came, and the water, from the water that is ocean only it sustained. Now it wants to go back to the ocean, and in the process of going towards the ocean, if there are small obstacles, it joyfully overcomes those obstacles, making a lot of noise, gurgling noise, and goes. If it is a very big article like a mountain or something there, then gracefully it goes around it and goes back. And sometimes it may take a little bit back also and goes around, but it never forgets its a goal. These are the two examples that are given in the Upadesha by Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. Either way, the mind has to flow in that direction. And that is what's being discussed as the continuous flow of thoughts as a samadhi. Let's go to next sloka. Anada viha samsare. My throat is a little bit hard. Okay. Anada viha samsare sanchita karma kotayaha anena vilayam yanti Suddho dharmo vivardhate. So anada viha samsare, anada viha samsare, sanchita karma kotayaha, sanchita karma kotayaha, anena vilayam yanti, anena vilayam yanti, suddho dharmo vivardhate, suddho dharmo vivardhate. So here now we are looking at what are the phalam, what is the result of all these things. And here we are talking about what happened to samsara, what happened, all that is now is being discussed here. So anada viha samsare, anadau viha samsare. So that which is beginningless, this samsare, this transmigration of myself, going from loka to loka. In this life itself, I am traveling from all over the world, going here, going there in search of happiness. And this is not only in this life, I am going to different lokas and all that, coming all over the time. What? In search of happiness. I am not in search of existence or consciousness. I am looking for happiness, and that happiness is unlimited happiness. I am getting happy a little bit, but I want inexhaustible, infinite happiness, which I cannot get it by any means. And that, when I recognize that I cannot get it, so Parichalokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedamayan nasya kruta krutena. By after examining that I cannot get what I want by this process, so paricha, examination of nirvedamayan nasya kruta krutena, by any effort I cannot get all this. So tad vijnanartam gurum eva vigached. For to solve the problem, go to a teacher. That's what Upanishad says itself. And once I went to teacher and all the teaching is gone, then what is the result? Final result. Final result is I am what I am. Not that I am going to become something. I recognize that I have been unnecessarily searching for myself all along. I am the very source. So prajahati yadakaman sarvan partham anogatan atmanyeva atmanatushya. I am reveling now in myself, because the self that I am is full by itself. So there is no longing for, there is no waiting for, there is nothing else. There is not, the search itself is, because the very seeker itself is the sought. Therefore, the whole seeking itself ends. So then what is the result? Here is anado iha samsare sanchitaha. Sanchitaha means accumulated. So karma kotayaha. So this course of this karma, that means vasanas, and vilayam, so get completely dissolved. So sanchita karma kotayaha anena vilayam yanti. So by this completely get dissolved, by this process completely get. Which process gets dissolved? Until then, even the remember by karma yoga, I have gone through to this, by the process that clarified many of the prarabdha karma. Some of it has been removed, and now once I start contemplating on it, and that itself removes the, you say sanchitaha karma kotayaha. I have big account. So what is my account? There is, whenever I perform an action with an egocentric attitude, there is an immediate result, but there is an intangible result which leaves an impression in the mind. To repeat it if I have enjoyed it, to avoid it if I didn't like it. So raga dveshas are put impressions, and next time I go after the same thing again and again and again, because it causes a bandhakatvam, bondage. So first of all, it is the dukkha misrithatvam, because I struggle in getting it, struggle in preserving it, and struggle if you lose it. So it is problem in getting it, essentially problem in maintaining it, and also problem in when you lose it. Whereas there is no complete happiness, asantruptikaram, in all these sense enjoyments. And finally, bandhakatvam, I became bound to it. Once I start drinking coffee, now I cannot live without a coffee. That's called bandhakatvam. So life after life, like vasanas are accumulating, and all that is called sanchita karma, total account. And when I am taking this birth, only those karmas that are ready to fructify, only that part only I am bringing, not the total part, because only that part can be exhausted in this life with this body, mind, and intellect. So I am born in a particular environment, so that's to conducive to vasanas. And exhausting of that, I accumulate new vasanas in the process. As I live through, particularly human being with a willpower, he accumulates new vasanas that can be either exhausted in this life or put back into the account. So every action has to be exhausted in one way or other. And through karma yoga, by process of the karma yoga process, we get chitta suddhi, means we clear out some of the accounts. But if sanchita account is so much, when am I going to clear all that? And that's always a worry. And here it says, sanchitaha karma kotayaha. Even you have quotes of the account, everything gets annihilated. How? How can that be annihilated? It's because, say, what is the code? Karma belongs to the one who has done karma. Karma belongs to the kartrutva bhavam is there. I am the one who did it, and therefore the results belong to him. So what is the teaching? I mean, akartaham abhoktaham. I am being Brahman. How can I act? Because infinite cannot act. Therefore, I am never a doer nor an enjoyer. Even though I had a misconception that in the past I did it, therefore, but I am just washing off, because now I recognize I am not even a doer, either past or present also. So the results only belong to the one who has done it, but there is no doer now. Doer now is there is no, the addressee not found. Dead letter office, when the person has died, what do you do? Where do you deliver the letter? Says he is gone. The person died in the sense that he has understood that I am not the body, my intellect, I am not a local guy, I am Purnam by myself. So therefore, accounts that belongs to the karta, and karta is not there. Even while living as a sadhana, I am trying to recognize myself, I am not the karta. Because Krishna says, Pragutyaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvasaha yah pasyati tadatmanam akartaram sapasyati. The Prakriti itself, all the actions, and it's only the one who knows that I am akarta. So he is the one who really understands. That means I am never a doer, not only now, in the past also. Therefore, all that karma that belongs to the karta is not there. So it goes to a dead letter office and nothing, no one to claim that one. That's how sanchitaha karmakotayaha anena vilayam yanti. By this, all that is getting destroyed. Suddho dharmo vivardhate. So, and he suddhaha dharmaha, so attains dharma, the here antakarana vivardhate. So the antakarana becomes a purer, more purer as I contemplate on this. So here the other vasanas are there. I don't have to go back to karma yoga and other yogas. The very contemplation on the higher is going to destroy all the actions. So sanchita karma is gone, because all that is destroyed by the process here, by the process of contemplating that aham brahmasmi. That's what it says. It says anena vilayam yanti. By this it's dharmo vivardhate. Pure mind, pure means the vasanas are getting out. I am already pure only, but superimposed vasanas can be washed out. That is getting dissolved. So dharmo vivardhate, dharma vivardhate. Dharma means the antakaranam, the mind and intellect, the sukshma body is getting purified, and without any vasanas are gone. And Bhagavad Gita, we have sloka, says yathaidamsi samidhogni basmasat kurute arjuna jnanagni sarva karmani basmasat kurute tatha. Just as the blazing fire, if you put anything, it consumes everything gets burned away, and the same way jnanagni sarva karmani basmasat kurute tatha. In the same way, all actions, all the sarva karmani is burned out by the jnanagni. The fire of knowledge burns out, because it's a misconception. The root cause is ignorance. Because I don't know who I am, therefore I am doing it. But if I know that jnanam itself, the kartrutva bhavam came, I am a doer, I am an enjoyer, came because of the lack of my understanding. So I cannot enjoy, I cannot do my real nature, because I am infinite. Action can be going on. So karmaniya akarmayah pasyetu. One who sees himself, I am not a karta, in spite of actions are being done, he is in fact is this sage. That's what essentially. So the karma doesn't belong to the sanchita karma, is going to get dissolved slowly, and that's because of the jnanagni. By the fire of knowledge, the whole thing gets dissolved. We'll go into more details in the next talk, and we'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.